Grandest of rising, beautiful souls. Back again with another multi part lesson and something we haven't really broached before. This was entitled All About the Ancestors. Let There Be Light. So, the mind, it lives in either the past or the future. I've spoken about this many times. You must leave that place of the mind, past, future, and hold the vibration of presence or being in the sacred heart space with spirit. It's the only way you'll be able to navigate those choppy waters, bringing your vessel, flesh, house, temple, to rest on the peaceful shores. Practice makes perfect, a saying which can only be associated or attributed with the matter of presence. To practice until you are able to hold that vibration at all times if possible. Be ye spirit, be ye perfect. Spirit man, as your Father in heaven is perfect. He is your Father in heaven because ye walk in spirit. The scripture, Matthew 5 and 48. I've given you numerous examples of how I be here now and how I hold this vibration, meaning how I stay present with meditation and awareness and breath work. Your vibration, yes, it will dip. Yes, you will forget to be present. Yes, it will take time. It will take time, but it may help to do as I did and buy yourself a little pack of post it notes or sticky notes and write on them phrases like be here now or stay present or I am here or I walk in spirit or simply I am, and stick them around your house on mirrors and cabinet doors, on the fridge, or in the fridge on your favorite drink or snack, on the dashboard of your car. And I just heard the frontlets between thine eyes. And that's an Old Testament, one of the commandments. That was a little joke. A good one. You can look it up. The time do you spend awakening, healing, and taking back your power? And we're going to talk about this in great detail. Not sure which section it'll be, but that time spent is more effective than any revenge. And I do promise to explain that in detail. So, some of you or us have spent a great portion of this lifetime being subjected to some pretty horrible shit. People who just did too much. I don't want to seem heartless, but again, the minutes you spend wishing, praying, hoping for their downfall and demise, you could spend healing, aligning, and in communion with your angel team, and especially Jesus and Sophia, the beautiful Holy Spirit. It's the only way you're going to get through it because it means getting out of your mind and out of that head of yours and walking in presence. So, I spoke several videos ago about them being energy vampires. Don't be their battery any longer. allowing them to drain your power. They be narcissist and they love your energy. It doesn't matter whether it's positive or negative. They don't care. You must detach from those rooster lollipops. I can't say the word, figure it out. Pull back your energy. I repeat, don't be a battery. And again, not being heartless. But you don't need closure. You don't need to hold a press conference. I know I'm triggering some people, or to plot their downfall. Closure is just an illusion. And that, along with trying to figure out how to get back at them, all those things do is keep you stuck in the story. And as I've said numerous occasions, you are not your story. That's not who you are. The story is merely the catalyst and meant to launch you into your awakening. There's a day of reckoning that's approaching for all of those who wronged you. This is why you can love them. They pushed you to the point which caused you to open your eyes. I promise you there's going to be a disclosure day. And I'm not talking about the movie. When you understand who your ancestors are and the lengths that Satan took to hide this information from you, it should bring you some peace. Here's some scriptures. I don't have the numbers for them, the reference numbers, but you can go find them. Fret not because of evildoers. They are soon going to be cut off. Jesus already let you know that vengeance belongs to him. He shall repay. Believe me, they were his enemies before they were yours. So, these nefarious, narcissistic leaders, I'm not talking about the gurus this time, but those who find delicious pleasure in raping babies and stealing and scamming, especially from the elderly, and murder for the sake of selling body parts, trafficking or trading for profit. Humans, and prey on the most vulnerable. It's not unseen or unnoticed by the Most High. I spoke of earthquakes and hurricanes a few videos ago and their ties to universal sins. Well, heat waves and wildfires are the direct result of the nefarious activities of those who take pleasure in inflicting pain on society's most vulnerable and less fortunate. I have a couple of scriptures for you. I shall return. James 3. I want 5 and 6. Even so, the tongue is a little member, and boasteth great things. Behold, how great a matter a little fire kindleth. 6. And the tongue is a fire, a world of iniquity. So is the tongue among our members, that it defileth the whole body, and setteth on fire the course of nature, and it is set on fire of hell. That is the tongue. And those who insist on being the narcissist that they are is the reason for what I've said. Being heat waves and wildfires. I mentioned the 2 year gap between hearing the phrase, all lies will be exposed, and the true revelation behind discovery of it being all liars will be exposed. A spiritual wrecking ball is coming, and everything fake is about to be uncovered, which brings us to ancestors, this topic. To begin, there are organizations out there, multi-billion-dollar organizations, that claim to take your DNA, place it through a process, and locate your ancestors. The AI definition, which is a general description of an ancestor, is a family member from whom you are descended, like parents, grandparents, great grandparents, which formed your family. But what if I told you that they are not and have never been your ancestors? Allow me to give you the Cliff Notes version. Lucifer himself has gaslit the entire world. It's what he does best. Into believing this grandiose lie. He is, after all, the father of all lies and liars. So I want to talk to you about the circle of life. We could start at any point, but let's just start where I consider the beginning is, or what appears to be the beginning. So you, the soul that you are, is in your mommy's belly, and a body is formed, a vessel around that soul that you are. Keep up with me. To house that soul. So you have to ask yourself the question, when does life begin? Well, it's before that body is in the womb because the soul is already there, waiting for the vessel. But that's just my opinion. You're born, you enter this matrix world to live out this life just as everyone else, never discovering that the meaning of life is to live a life of meaning, and the perfect purpose of your existence is to awaken to who you are as a spark of the Creator, the Most High, the treasure of spirit. However, you live for years and decades, missing the signs while never waking up spiritually. Then you die from this earthly plane, that flesh, the carnal man, and the spark which is in you returns to the Father. So, I spoke of the crossed over loved ones, or your mom, dad, grandparents, maybe brother, sister, you know, those people that were here with you on this earthly plane before they crossed over. You meet them, and when you cross over, all of your 18, they're your angels. They go with you. The Trinity's there, the original gangsters, which are 12 apostles, and your ancestors. You all watch the funny reel of your life movie, and because you are now fully aware and awake, because you are there and in spirit, you see all the crazy crap you did, the things you should have done, and all the signs you missed, causing you to remain asleep in this matrix. So you get to hang out with your soul tribe for 7 years, the number of completeness, during which time you plan your next go round. That's what you're doing. You're there in full awareness now because you're in spirit. You didn't wake up and you say, oh, I'm going to come back. And this time, I'm going to be a beggar. It doesn't matter what I do, I'm going to wake up because I do not want to spend my eternity in hell. You must wake up spiritually. The meaning of life is to live a life of meaning. And the purpose of your life is to live a life of purpose. And that is your purpose, to wake up, to knowing that you are a part, you are a spark of the Most High, the Creator. So, as I said, you get to hang out with your soul tribe for 7 years. If there are some of them there and they didn't wake up, they come back. You cannot stay. You must return here to awaken. So, while you're there, you write the script for your next lifetime movie because you got to come back. You choose a different scenario. Like I said, you might be a beggar, you might be a rich person, whatever it's going to take. You were a male this lifetime, you want to choose to be a female. A different, I don't know, everything could change. Maybe you were African American. Next lifetime, you want to be Russian or someone from European descent. It doesn't matter. Maybe you're living in a mansion, or maybe you're living in a mud hut. You need to be able to wake up. So you create your lifetime movie, the next script, choosing a different scenario because waking up is all that matters, and you return. After that, before you head back this way, you got to get a mind swipe because it would be torture to come here with all of your past memory, plus the memory of being in heaven. You wouldn't want to return. You became a living soul. Remember back in Genesis? So you've always been living. I hope I'm beginning to make sense to you. But Satan had to put a halt to you being able to live forever. After he did that, with the introduction of sin in the garden, you know, the Most High wasn't going to let you live forever with sin in you. So, again, you come back, mind swiped into your mother's belly. Another mama, another flesh. You're a living soul, another person wrapped around the same soul. And you repeat this until you finally awaken, or you don't, which is not good. And I know I just rambled a bit, but I'm hoping you understand what I'm saying, or understand actually. This is my 834th lifetime. I planned this one and said, I don't care how brutal, I want to awaken. I must. And such is my life. You've heard some of the things I've told you. This is all the process of reincarnation, and every single solitary person has been through it for over at least 600 lifetimes. But because your mind was swiped, you don't remember. However, this is why you had all the synchronicities and the signs and your angels, manifestations, all those things trying to lead you to wake up. You've had past lives, and that's what they are, past lives. You come back, soul in another vessel to be born again of the water until hopefully you are born of spirit by awakening this time around a whole new movie in hopes that you awaken. This is the reason for the signs. Again, your inner and outer motivators and all of those things. Each of those persons which died before awakening are what's known as your ancestors. Do you see? And Lucifer full well knew and knows if he didn't hide this from you somehow, that you would do some research. If the dictionary gave you the correct definition of ancestor, it would say something like ancestor, the person that surrounded a soul or spirit in a previous lifetime. When you awaken spiritually, you have broken the cycle along with generational curses and no longer need to return but are free to now live in paradise. Your ancestors are who you have been in your past lifetime. They are not your descendants or your forefathers. And the reason that I remember so many things is because I've awakened. And when you awaken, your ancestors can walk with you. However, they must be invited in. They see you, but you don't know about them. Your angels are here, guardian, archangels, the Most High, Jesus the Christ, Sophia, your crossed over loved ones. But you must invite your ancestors in, and with them comes this wisdom. Like I said, 834. This is a lifetime that I'm on. So I'm bringing the wisdom of all my ancestors. The remembering. These things are innate, they are within you. Anything that you hear me speak about trickles down through my chakras. And because my ancestors are with me along with all the others, I can carry this wisdom. But you must believe it. You must know it. Do I know who a lot of my ancestors have been? Of course I do. I'm not sure if I'll be able to give you any information on them within these few videos, but there's a possibility that I'll be allowed to share that with you. So, I don't want to repeat this one. I do know that I'm a little under 25 minutes. However, the next section is going to kind of open up a little more about ancestors, the role they play, and possibly we'll talk a little bit more about those in your great cloud of witnesses. Now that you know your ancestors are a part of that cloud. However, because you didn't know about them, they didn't interact with you or they couldn't. But now you can invite them in. You don't have to do that forever. Once they know that you are in belief of them, let's put it that way, they'll hang around. So I hope you enjoyed this. I know it was a bit different, but um, I thought it was premature, but of course, hey, I could be wrong. The experts are letting me know it was time for you to know these things. The next couple of videos also might be a little bit darker, because we're still dealing in a bit of shadow work. But, however, if those of you who have awakened and are beginning to really try to fold into yourself and walk on this path, just know, well, you can say the words, I'm not sure about all of this, and I don't really understand ancestors and past lives and reincarnation. Well, this is new to me. They don't talk about it in church. However, his ways are not your ways. Just let them know. I know my ways are not your ways, but I want to learn. I want to know. These things are inside of me. I want to know because I want to fully awaken. I've told you it's a whole new world, a new horizon, and a new point of view. Don't allow your ego to keep you from discovering the power that you have now that you know and you're beginning to understand why. Bible, Bible, stands for believing in Baal's lies everywhere. Well, it's a lot more than anyone could ever think he'd do. But he is wicked and wise. And we're told to be wise as serpents, but as harmless as doves. All right, maybe you can decipher this message. I didn't know about this until I got up this morning that I would be talking on this subject. And yeah, all righty. Y'all have a wonderful rest of the day. See you on the flip side. Bye.